Okay, so in some cases, you may be required to do a origin destination study along a corridor, along a main highway, and your network can be a small network. Okay, so it only has like 2-3 intersections along the main corridor. If your network is so small, which can happen during the traffic impact analysis, then you can take the counts uh, from intersection movements. Okay, so you go to the intersections which are along your corridor or within your network, and then you count the number of vehicles which are in your count the number of vehicles for each direction on your intersections. Okay, and then you can deduce origin destination counts using these accounts. Okay, let me show you an example here. Okay, so these are two intersections, so it's a very small network. Okay, and this is the main corridor. Okay, and these are our zones. Okay, so this is, let's say, 1 2 3 4, not this one. Okay, this is just, okay, obviously it is going through. So 1 2 3 4 5 6, these are six zones. Okay, these are six zones, and I have taken traffic counts on both the intersections which were within my network. Okay, now first of all, for each movement, okay, you will find out how much is coming from each zone. Okay, so for example, if you take this one, okay, so the total number of vehicles which are on this link is 630. Okay, the total number of vehicles which are on this, which is in this, on this link, is 630. So total number of vehicles which is approaching this intersection is 630. Okay, and then out of 630, 85 are going left, 500 going straight, and 45 are taking the left turn. Okay, and then again you have 585 here, from which 45 are coming from here, 40 are coming from here, 500 is coming from here. Now out of this 630, okay, 450 is coming from here straight. Okay, now this 450 is 71% of 630. Okay, so you already know it is 450, and you already have the count from this intersection, so you know this is 630. So out of 630, how much is coming from this side, from this zone, which is 71%. Okay, then if you come here, then out of 630, 120 is coming from here, so this is 19%. 19%. Okay, 120 is 19% of 630. Okay, so the percentages are calculated and the counts are taken. Okay, keep it in mind. Okay, I am calculating the percentages using the counts. So total count is 630. Out of 630, 120 is from here, so 120 is 19% of 630. 450 is from here, so 450 is 71% of 630, and 60 is from here, so 60 is approximately 10% of 630, approximately. Okay, so these numbers are approximated. Now what we are saying here is, when you calculate the percentage of trips contributed to the uh, proceeding zones, it will be in the same percentage as the trips coming from the previous intersection. Okay, when you are calculating the trips which will go from this intersection to these zones, it will be in the same percentage as the trips which were coming from the last intersection. Okay, so percentage is, left true and percentage right will be true for all these movements. Okay, let me give an example. Now for example, these 85 trips, okay, these 85 trips are going into this zone. Okay, so I know for 85 vehicles, I know their destination. The destination of 85 vehicles is this zone, whatever number you want to give it, 3 4 5, whatever. Okay, let me call it zone A. So these 85 vehicles are going to zone A. Zone A is their destination. Okay, zone A is their destination. Out of 85, how many are coming from this zone? Now let me call them as 1 2 3. So this is zone 1, this is 2, this is 3. Okay, so out of the 85 vehicles which are going to zone A, how many are coming from zone 1? Okay, so since zone 1 is contributing 19% of 630, 19% of the total number of vehicles, it will remain the same percentage for 85 as well. Okay, so zone 1 is contributing 19% of 85 to this zone. Okay, so 19% of 85 is how much? Can you calculate? Keep your calculators at hand. Okay, 19% of 85 is how much? Yeah, anyone?
12.
12. Okay, so let me make it here. Yeah. Okay, so 12 trips are going like this. Okay. From this zone to this zone. I don't know how to try this one. Okay, so 12 trips are coming from this zone to this zone. Okay, so now you know the origin and destination both. This is 12. Okay, now 71% of 85 is coming from this zone. Okay, because 71% of the total is coming from this zone. So 71% of 85 is how much? 71% of 85, how much?
60.
60. So 60 vehicles are coming from this zone and they are going here. Okay, so again I know the origin and the destination both. The origin is this zone and the destination is this zone. Okay, the remaining 12 plus 60, so it will be 72. So the remaining 13 are coming from this zone then, right? The remaining are coming from this zone. Okay, so again now you know the origin and the destination both. Okay, so this is how you can calculate the number of trips using the corridor study. Okay, from the intersection counts. So you are given with the intersection counts. First of all, calculate how much count is coming from each zone from the previous intersection, and then you divide each movement from the next intersection according to the same percentage. Okay, to know the origin. So for 85, so you can do the same thing with this 500 as well. Okay, so this 500 is going where? This 500 is going here. Okay, so out of this 500, okay, out of the trips, this 500 trips, how many are coming from here? 19%. So you calculate 19% of 500 and you will have a line like this. Okay, let me change the color. Okay, give me 19% of 500. Tell me. How much is 19% of 500?
95.
Okay, so these 95 trips are coming from, I told you, this zone and they are going here. Okay, and then 71% of 500.
355.
How much? 300?
55.
335.
55.
Okay. 55.
Yes.
Okay, and the remaining are coming from this zone then. Okay. How much is that?
50.
50. Okay, so now you have the idea. Now this is how you can calculate the trips coming from one zone to the other. Okay, obviously in this, on this intersection there is no problem because this is the first intersection, so you can directly calculate 200 are coming from here, 30 are coming from here into this zone. Okay, so for this zone you know 30 and 200 from here and here. Okay, and for this is the first zone from where they are coming. Okay, so if there was a left turn from here, then you know for how many are going from this zone to this zone. If there was a left turn here and here, then right turn from here, then you would know how many trips are coming from here and going into there. Okay, so on the first intersection there is no problem. The only thing would be how to calculate the percentages for the next intersection. So I told you, you will calculate it using the same ratio as you observed the traffic coming from the first intersection. Okay, and then if there are other intersections, then you can continue like this. Okay, you can continue in the same manner like this. Okay, so so they have given us for different zones here. Okay, so these are the percentages. So for example, this is 16. So we had total 120, okay, which are going in this direction from here. Okay, 120 which are taking the left turn from here. Okay, taking the left turn from here. Out of this 120, somebody told me this is 12. Is this 12 or not? Let me check it myself.
It is 16, doctor.
16. So 12 was not correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the number of trips which were coming from this zone, out of this zone and going forward were 120. Out of 120, 16 was the 19% of 85. 16 was the 19% of 85. So these 85 were taking the left turn. Okay. So this is 16 then you are saying. Okay, and then this one will be 9 only. Okay, but anyway, now we are talking about this 120. So out of 120, 16 are from here taking the left turn. Okay, the remaining, obviously they will be going somewhere, right? So the remaining can either go straight or they may be taking the right turn. Out of 120, the remaining may be going straight or taking the right turn. Okay, so now they are saying from here. So again, what you were saying 355, I think there may be some approximation here. Okay, so this is what we have already calculated, right? 355. Okay, so so this is 95. Okay, so from 120, 16 are contributing towards the left hand movement, and 95 is contributing in the 500 this movement, and then the remaining will be contributing towards 45. Okay, so how did we divide 120? So 120 whatever is coming from here was 19% of the movements which are at this intersection, right? Whatever is coming from here was 19% of the movement from this intersection. Okay, so 120. Okay, so 19% of 85 which was for going left, then 19% of 500 which was for going straight, and then 19% of people who are going right, which was for right turn. Okay, so this is 9 which is going in this zone. Okay, which is coming in this zone with the right turning movement. So 9 is basically the 19% of 45. Okay, then if you go for 95, then 95 is the 90% of 500. Okay, then 16 is the 19% of 85. Okay, so from this zone total 120 are coming. Out of 120, some of them will be part of this movement, some of them will be part of this movement, some of them will be part of this movement. How much? 19%. Okay, so from 120 you will calculate 19% of 85, 19% of 500, 19% of 45. So 19% of 85 will be going left from here, so they are going from this zone to this zone, which I've already made here with the red line. Then 19% of 500 will be going straight from here, okay, which is 95. Okay, and 19% of 45 will be going right from here, which they are saying is how much? 9. Okay, so this is 9. Okay, so this 9 is coming from here, from this, out of this 120. So this 120 is 16 here, 95 here, and 99 here. Okay, so This is how you will find out the origin and destination using the intersection counting study. For each movement, take one movement and calculate the percentages from the previous intersections. Okay, the contribution from the previous intersection. So you will have the origin and destination, and you will do the same thing with all the available movements from the intersection. Okay, so once you are done with all the movements, okay, for all these movements, then you will have from which zone the traffic was coming and in which zone the traffic was entering. Okay, now you can try, okay, doing it yourself, all of them. Okay, and if you have any problem, then you can let me know. They have given the example about 85 here. It is explained here, and then if you want to solve yourself, then you have the numbers. Okay, and I think they have made the lines very clearly here, so I think you will not have any problem that which number is coming from here, from which side to the other side. Okay. Okay, once you have trip distribution, then you can plot desired line diagrams. I think I told you previously as well. So in desired line diagrams, you connect each of the two zones with a line. Each of the two zones is connected with a line, and the thickness of the line shows the movement on between these two zones. The thickness of the line shows the movement between these two zones. I think I explained it on Thursday as well. So this network, which you can see on the slide here, is only showing the desired line diagrams from zone 1 to other zones. From zone 1 to other zones. Because if you can imagine, if I connect all the zones here, okay, so if I connect 2 with all the zones and 3 with all the zones, then it will become very congested. Okay, so here they are saying, why not plot it for one zone, then you have another desired line diagram for zone 2, another one for zone 3. So if you have 14 zones, then you can have 14 desired line diagrams. It will be a lot of diagrams, but at least you can understand something from here. It is not crowded. Okay, it is something from which you can see which trips are coming from here and going to the other side. Okay, otherwise you can make it crowded and then you would not know which line is coming from where. Okay, so here you can see the highest number of trips are between zone 1 and zone 12, and I told you this circle is our study area. The circle is a study area, so the zones within the circle are internal traffic analysis zones, and the zones which are outside the circle are external, so they are out of the study area. I'm not planning for these areas, so you do not see any highways here. But the trips are coming and going to these areas, so they are part of my analysis. Okay, but I will call them as external zones. So now within the internal zones, I think the highest trips are between zone 1 and zone 10. Within the internal zone, within my study area, the highest number of trips are between zone 1 and zone 10. And for the external, if you include the external, then they are between zone 1 and zone 12. Okay. So once you have the origin destination metrics, okay, for zone 1, then you have the numbers, and according to the numbers you can plot the desired line diagrams. Okay, I think I have an example for a desired line diagram. Let me show it to you. Okay, I have an example from my master's student for desired line diagram. Well, line diagrams, yeah. Okay, again now you can see it's very congested. Okay, because all the zones are connected. So this is for the freight movement in Bahrain. Okay, for the freight movement in Bahrain. Okay, so you can see they are coming mainly from the port areas. These diagrams are coming mainly from the port areas. Okay, I don't know whether you can guess the other areas or not. Okay, but one of them is an airport. Okay, I don't know which one. You can see this is the port area, this is the port area. Okay, I don't know which one is the airport. Can somebody imagine which one is the airport? But anyways, these desired line diagrams are basically coming from the port and the airport. Okay, the ports and the airport in Bahrain, because they are for freight transport. Okay, and they are going towards the warehouses and the market areas and commercial hubs and so on. Okay, so this is our desired line diagram, and again it is plotted according to the same methodology. Somebody took the survey and they found the origin destination by asking the traders, okay, from which port their trade comes and into which port it goes. Okay, now this is the sample calculation for zone 1, and I would like to repeat it because when we were calculating the number of trips, let me go back. So this is the trip generation matrix. Okay, now you can see in zone 1 they have written 1000 here. They have written 1000 here. Okay, so when they were calculating, the number of trips, they used 1500. I don't know why. Okay, it should be 1000. I think they miscalculated it because all the other trips are the same. Okay, so these are the number of trips which are exiting from each zone. If I go back to the trip generation table again, okay, so when you use the IT equations, in the IT equations you can calculate the total trips, and from within the total trips you have the percentage of trips entering and exiting as well. See here, it is given. Okay, so once you use the equation of the trip or whatever, you can calculate, you have the total number of trips and you know how many trips are entering and exiting. Okay, so number of trips exiting is the trip will become the trip attraction for the other zone. So for example, 450 trips are coming out of zone 2, trips exiting, okay, which is 40% for this land use, whatever the land use was. So 450 trips are coming out of zone 2. Okay, so this will become the trip attraction for the other zones. So when I'm calculating number of trips using the gravity model, this will become the A for zone 2, and this will become A for zone 3 and 4 and so on. Okay, so this will, the number of trips exiting from a zone becomes the trips attracted towards the other zone. Okay, the A values, and the total number of trips. Okay, the total number of trips will become the P value for that zone itself. Okay, so if you are calculating for zone 1, then 1000 is the P value for zone 1, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is, I think, where they have made a mistake. So it gives us a chance that we can do our own calculations. Okay. Okay, so we have this table here. Okay, now these values are correct. All of these values are correct. Only thing is the problem is in the QI value. Okay, so this is, as I said, the A values, which is number of trips coming out of zone 2, 3, 4, and so on. This is the travel time from each zone to zone 1. Now remember, we are calculating number of trips for zone 1 for the time being. They are only generating origin destination matrix for zone 1. So this is travel time, okay, from zone 1 to the other zones. Okay, so from 1 to 2 is 5 minutes, 1 to 3 is 10 minutes. So all of them are with reference to zone 1. All of them are with reference to zone 1. Okay, now how did I get F factor here? F is related to travel time. Who can tell me how to get the F factor if you know the travel time? Yes, come on.
The inverse of the travel time.
Inverse. Thank you. So you take the inverse of travel time, you get the F factor. Okay, and the KIG factor is the socio-economic adjustment factor. So we have not discussed the calculation of this factor. Okay, no, it is given in the book. So we just take it as it is. Okay, whatever it is given. So this is the socio-economic factor for zone 1, zone 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is related to the factor, the zone itself. Okay, so then you do A, F, and K factor. A, F, this is the F, and K. So how did I get 90? 450 into 0.2 into 1. Okay, how did I get 15? 150 into 0.1 into 1. Okay, and similarly, if you take this one, okay, so I have 80 here. How did I get 80? 240 into 0.167 into 2. Okay, so you get 80 here. Okay, then you do the summation of all the AFK factors. Okay, the summation of AFK factors is 1243. Okay, so then take each factor, divide by the summation. Summation will remain the same. Obviously, summation is constant 1243, but each factor, each zone will have its own AFK factor. Okay, so how did I get 0.072? It's 90 upon 1243. 90 upon 1243. How did I get 0.012? It is 15 upon 1243. 15 upon 1243. Okay, got it? And then the final answer is total number of trips produced from zone 1 multiplied by this last column, or sorry, second to last column, this column. Okay, total number of trips produced from zone 1, because you are calculating number of trips for zone 1. Okay, if it was for zone 2, then you will multiply with the total number of trips coming out of zone 2, and so on and so forth. Okay, so as per this calculation, they have taken total number of trips to be 1500. Okay, 1500. So 1500 multiplied by 0.072. Now 1500 I am pointing here because this is where it is written in this table, but 1500 is coming from the trip generation stage, from the trip generation step. When you did the trip generation step, I showed you the table. You already know how many trips are produced from each zone. Okay, how many trips are produced from each zone. So this 1500 should come from there. Okay, it is just written here, so that's why I'm pointing here. Okay, don't think that I'm taking the summation from this column and then multiplying. It is not possible. This column, the last column, is coming from using these factors. Okay, so I must know how many trips are generated from zone 1 in order to calculate this QIJ column. Okay, so according to them, 1500 trips are generated from zone 1. So 1500 into 0.072 gives you 109. Then 1500 into 0.012 gives you 18, and so on. Okay, and the summation of this column, QIJ column, should be equal to the total number of trips produced. Total number of trips produced from zone 1. Okay, if you are doing it for zone 1, then it should be equal to total number of trips produced from zone 1. Okay, now just for the sake of our own practice, okay, just for the sake of our own practice, we will take the actual number which they have shown in the previous trip generation table, which was 1000. Okay, so actually they showed total number of trips produced from zone 1 is 1000. Okay, so let us apply this calculation to 1000 now. Okay, so obviously these factors will not change, because for all the other zones they have taken the number how it should be taken. Okay, without any problem. So there is no problem here. Okay, the only problem was they took 1500 as the total number of trips produced from zone 1, which is, I think, from the previous example. I think they just took it and they started with the calculation. Okay, so now I want to calculate this last column, QIJ. Okay, and total number of trips produced 1000 from zone 1, and I will multiply with these factors. Okay, so give me these factors now, the QIJ factors now. Or let me see if I can write it. Okay, for the first zone, I think I can write 2-3 digits here and there. Okay, so 0.072 multiplied by 1000. How much will it give you?
72.
72. Okay, second one, again 1000 will remain the same, only the factor is changing. 12. Go ahead. 12. Okay, next.
56.
56. Next.
64.
64. Next.
47.
47. Next.
66.
66. Next.
230.
230. Next.
39.
39. Next.
93.
93. Next.
48.
48.
87.
87.
121.
121.
And 64.
64. Now, can you do the summation? Summation of all the Qij values, how much you are getting?
The summation is 999, doctor.
999, which is close to 1000. There may be some you rounding off here, right?
Yes.
So this is acceptable, no problem. Okay, this is acceptable. Okay, you can go back and check where did you do the rounding off. Maybe you did you added one too many or you subtracted one too many. Okay, this can happen. Okay, no problem. Okay, well, but and I will show you in the next table that plus minus 1 is very common. Okay. So this is how it should be done. Okay, and the answer should be equal to the number of trips produced from that zone. Okay, so this table is only for zone 1. Again, keep it in mind, this table is only for zone 1. So you are calculating number of trips which are coming from different zones to zone 1. Okay, so how many trips are coming from zone 2 to zone 1? 72. How many trips are coming from zone 3? 12. Okay, and so on. So you can see the highest number of trips which are coming to zone 1 is from zone 8. This one. Okay, so when you are plotting the desired line diagrams, then these numbers will take the thickness. Okay, the thickness of the desired line diagrams will be according to these numbers. Okay, so then according to them, the desired line diagram between zone 1 and 8 should be the thickest one. Okay, and then after that, I think this is for zone 13, which has 121. Okay, and so on. Okay, so you get the idea. The thickest desired line diagram will be for the highest number, and then after that, the lines will keep on getting thin and thin. Okay, thinner and thinner. Sorry. Okay, now we have calculated these numbers. Okay, in the previous table we have calculated these numbers, which is, as I said, origin. They are saying zone 1 and destination. The other zones. Did we calculate these numbers or these numbers, right? Calculate these numbers. Okay. So these are trips from zone 1 to the other zones. Okay. And I think just let me check one thing which I said earlier. Exit India. Exiting trips. Okay, so you calculated the first row. So when you apply the same methodology to zone 2, you will end up with the second row and the third row and the fourth row and so on and so forth. Okay, now you can see these are dashed lines. Okay, why? What are these dashed lines indicating? These are which trips? Can you tell me? What is indicated by
the same zone?
The same zone trips, and obviously there is no way that you can calculate these numbers using this table, right? Within the zone is not included here. Within the zone calculation is not included here. Okay. So when you are using the ITE equations or trip rates, the percentage of these trips is already reduced from those equations. Okay. Because we are not interested in how many trips are going are just within the zone. We are not interested in that. Our planning process includes number of trips which are going from one zone to the other. So for example, if this number was 10, so that those 10 trips are already deducted when you are using the ITE equation. Okay, the percentage of trips which are internal, they are already deducted from the ITE equations and the ITE models. Okay, so you don't have to worry about these blank cells here. Okay, so as I was saying, if you apply the same methodology which I applied to zone 1, you will get the second row and the third row and so on and so forth. Okay, and this is the total number of trips which are, you know, they are produced from each zone. Let me go back. trip produced from zone 1, then it should be 750. So we have 451, then 150, then 560, which is for zone 3, 240, and so on. Then why did they take it 1500 for zone 1? Should be 750 then. Okay. I will check it again, but it seems that in trips produced, example here. So this is 1500, which is coming out. Okay. So this number should be the number of trips produced from zone 1 then. This number should be the number of trips produced from zone 1. Okay. I still don't know why they took it 1500. Because number of trips produced from zone 1 is 750. You can see for all the other zones, they are using the number of trips produced from each zone. See here, this number of trips produced. Okay, and here they are using number of trips attracted, then it should be number of trips attracted is number of trips entering. Then this should be the case. Anyways, I will check it again. Okay, just remind me tomorrow. I'll check it in the book and I will come back to you. Okay. Okay, so I will check these numbers, which numbers are we supposed to multiply. Okay, but anyways, if you apply this table, okay, if you apply this methodology to zone 1, then you will get the values in the first row. Okay, if you apply to the second zone 2, then you get the second row and so on and so forth. Okay, one important point which I want to explain here is you got the number of trips, okay, for zone 1, and the total from trip distribution stage should be 1500. Okay, we will just assume that this is the number which they have, so the total should be 1500, and you are getting 1501, which is very close, no problem. Okay, and I will tell you the range later on as well. Here the data was 450, you are getting 451, again no problem. The data is 150, you are getting 149. So this 149, so this is the summation of these rows. Okay, and this summation should be the same as the number you are getting from the trip generation stage. From the trip generation phase, whatever the number you are getting, it should be the same number. Okay, so you can see these numbers are very close to each other. Okay, now if you come here, then we have the summation of each column as well. Now summation of each column should be equal to the trips which are entering into each zone. The summation of each column should be the number of trips which are entering into each zone. Okay, so 500 is the actual number of trips which are entering into zone 1, again calculated from the trip generation stage, and you are getting 95. You are getting 95. Okay, similarly 300 is the number of trips which are entering zone 2 according to trip generation stage. Okay, but you are getting 421, and so on and so forth. Normally when you apply the gravity method, this is the gravity method, okay, using AFK factor is the gravity method. When you apply the gravity method, the rows will automatically balance because you are already using the number of trips produced. So the rows will automatically balance, but the columns will not be balanced. Okay, the rows are known as trip productions. The row summations are known as trip productions. So this is 1500 trips produced from zone 1, 450 trips produced from zone 2, and so on and so forth. Okay, and this is number of trips attracted. Number of trips attracted. Column summations are known as number of trips attracted. So number of trips attracted are not balanced. Number of trips produced are balanced. Number of trips attracted are not balanced. Okay, so you have to make them balanced. To balance them, we already know the methodology from traffic engineering course, and I will just refresh it in your minds. Okay, so first of all, for each row and column, you will calculate the ratio of data upon the summation. Calculate the ratio of data upon the summation. Okay, now or let's say summation upon the data. Okay, summation upon the data or data upon whatever. Okay, in this case it will not matter, but in the traffic course we were doing it data upon summation. Okay, let us do data upon summation. So for each row and column you will calculate data upon summation. Okay, 1500 upon 1501, 450 upon 451, and so on. And same thing here, 500 upon 95, 300 upon 421, 150 upon 135, and so on. Okay, so data upon summation for each row and column. So for each row and column, you will get some factors. Let me call these factors as the F factors. So for each row and column, you will have an F factor. Okay. Now these F factors, again, I am using the same principle as we discussed in the traffic engineering course. These factors should be between 1.1 and 0.9. Okay. All the factors for all the rows and columns should be between these two values. If they are not between these two values, then I will change the values in the matrix using the average of the factor of the row and column, using the average of the factor of row and column. For example, give me the ratio for the first row and the first column. Give me the ratio for the first row and the first column. So 1500 upon 1501 is how much?
0.999.
0.99. Okay, which is almost 1, no problem. Okay, and we can see it here as well. Okay, and how about for the first column?
5.26.
5.4. Okay, give me for the second column as well. Give me for the second column as well.
Doctor, it's 5.3.
5.3 for the first one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and the second one? This one?
0.71.
0.71. Okay. Now let's say I want to recalculate this number, which is in this 109. Okay, so this 109, second column, first row. Okay, so you will multiply 109 with the average of 0.71, which is the factor for the first column, and 0.99, or you can make it 1. Okay, no problem, this is very close. Okay, so you can do the rounding off here. Okay, so this will give you the new number for this cell. Okay, and this is exactly how we did it in the traffic engineering course. Okay, you can go back and have a look. We did number of iterations there. Okay, so what I want you to do is, this is your homework now. This is your homework. Calculate the factors for the complete matrix. Okay, and change these numbers using the average of the factors. Okay, so if you are doing it for this number 18, then you must know the factor for the third column. Okay, then 0.71 will be replaced by the factor of the third column, and so on and so forth. Okay, I'm assuming that you will not require many iterations because the rows are already balanced. Okay, but anyways, we will see. Okay, so this is your homework. You will do the iterations and you will check that you are getting the factors between 1.1 and 0.9. It may not happen in one iteration. Keep it in mind. It may not happen in one iteration. Okay, so what I want you to do is give me the final matrix. Okay, and the final ratios tomorrow. Okay, when you come tomorrow, I want one of you, and obviously if all of you don't try, then I will just leave it and I will move forward. If one of you tries, and then I can at least show the final solution in the class. Okay, and if that is the only person which tries, he will only benefit and the others will obviously lose. Okay, this is not something related to my gain. Okay, I can still move forward. I will not have any trouble. I'm going for the attendance, so if you have any questions, you can ask me.